Hi, everybody. Heather here. I'm here to talk to you today about starting to run when you're over 50. So, a lot of us who hit 50 years old, we decide it's time to start getting in shape and working out and exercising more and finding time to do that. So today I'm going to talk to you about the best way to get started running when you're over 50, even if you've never run before. So listen up. We're going to go over the who, what, when, where, why, and how to get started and hopefully get you on your way to becoming a better runner. So the first thing I want to talk about is how. How do you get started? Well, it's pretty darn easy. Go outside or get on a treadmill, whichever you prefer, and run. It's as simple as putting one foot in front of the other at a speed faster than walking. If you feel like you're running, you're running. You don't have to run a certain speed. You don't have to be fast. You can be as slow as you want. You can be the walking speed of other people. It does not matter. The key here is for you to get out and just do it. Not that I'm a fan of Nike, because frankly I'm not. But anyway, um, back on the important subject here. The key is to just get outside and go. You just start running. It doesn't matter, you don't need to track your runs. You don't need to, wear a certain brand of shoe or a certain brand of clothing or hat. You don't need a specific water bottle. You don't need a running vest. You don't even need a watch. All you need, you don't even need shoes on your feet. I mean, just go outside literally and run. And it doesn't matter how far you run. You don't have to run miles and miles. You don't have to run 1 mile. If you can only run 10 feet, then run 10 feet and then walk. And then tomorrow, go out and run 10 feet and walk, and then see if you can run 5 more feet. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It does not matter. The key is just to get out there and do it. Don't compete. Don't go far. Don't worry about your speed. Don't worry about your heart rate. Keep it loose. Be comfortable. The one thing I will say is make sure that if you need a doctor's note, if you need a doctor's clearance before you start running, you should probably get that. I'm not going to tell you that anybody can go run. Sometimes it's not safe. So make sure you get checked out if you need to. So next I'll talk about the best places to run. Where's the best place to run? Anywhere. Anywhere you can run is fine. Um, Personally, I prefer to run outside because I'm doing it for my health and I prefer to be outside and get a little sunshine. But there are times when I can't. If it's freezing ass cold outside, I don't necessarily want to run in the cold. If it's pouring down rain, I may not want to run in it. So there are times when it's better to run in a different place. But outside is relative too, right? Do you run on a sidewalk? Do you run on the road? Do you run on a trail? So my personal preference is first rule of thumb is outside if possible, and then a trail. I prefer trail runs just because I don't have to dodge traffic. I don't have to worry about breathing in exhaust fumes. And I like the trees. I like the shade. I like to be out in the nature while I'm running. That's just my personal preference. It took me a long time. There were many years that the thought of running a trail made me wary because I would always twist my ankle or whatever because of the uneven surfaces. And what I found is over time your ankles get stronger and you actually adapt to that very well, and it's actually better for you. But I understand the fear and trepidation of starting there. But again, over time, it's just become my happy place. But outside of trails, you can run on the sidewalk, which is usually fairly safe. You still have to dodge traffic when people are turning. The road, if you live on a road that is safe for you to run on, then run on the road if you have to. It's not my favorite, but if you can do it, then go for it. And my least favorite place to run personally is a treadmill. It's boring. I don't like the sound of it. I don't like the feel of it. I don't like the bounce. There are all kinds of things that I don't like about a treadmill. But again, that's my personal preference. It doesn't have to be yours. If the only access you have to run is at a gym on a treadmill, then do it. There's nothing like climate controlled atmosphere with the TV on or whatever it is you want to do. Or if you get one of the fancy ones with the screen that has a virtual, what do you call it, a virtual run that gives you the feeling of being outside without having to be outside in snow or inclement weather, then by all means take advantage of it and do it. The key is to run where you can, wherever it makes you happy and comfortable is where you should run. So the next question is, when should you run? Anytime is fine. The I prefer to run in the mornings early because I live in Florida and it's hot 9 months. It's too hot 9 months out of the year. The other 3 months it's raining. I'm in North Florida, so the weather's pretty humid most of the time. So I like to get up early and run before the day gets started, often before it's light outside because that's the only time that it's below 70 degrees, and that's only half the year. So, so the key is, for me to get out early when it's cool. I have been known to run in the evenings after work in the wintertime because I'm a wimp, and when it's in the 20s, which it does get in North Florida, when the temperature's in the 20s, I don't want to run in that kind of cold, so I'll run in the evenings when it's in the 50s or 60s in the wintertime. Um, it's up to you. The best time for you is the best time for you. Mornings, lunchtime. Some people take their lunch break to run, or go to the gym and run, and that's fine too. The only time that you should not run is right before bed. I don't know which studies have been done, but there have been several studies that show exercise right before bed that gets your heart rate way up. Like stretching before bed is fine, but running or lifting weights right before bed is actually not good for you because you get that endorphin dump, and so you can't sleep. So the key is, if you're going to run in the evenings, make sure you're finishing up at least 2 hours before bed, and that gives you time to A, cool off, and B, get a shower, because nobody wants to go to bed all nasty and sweaty and stuff. But again, any time that's good for you is a good time to run. There's no better or worse time for the general population. Next, I want to talk about what gear you need to get running. So this is really one of the most important things you're going to hear in this video. You know what you need to start running? Nothing. You need proper clothing, meaning if you're a woman, you probably want to wear a bra. It's not required, but you might want to wear a bra. A running bra or sports bra is probably best. You need, something to cover you up, and you probably want to wear shoes. You don't have to wear shoes to run, and I'll do a whole different video on running barefoot sometime. I used to do it. I don't really anymore, but not for the reasons you might think. It's actually really good for you, but that's a whole different story. Really, what you want to do is just go run. It's going to take you time to find the shoes that work for you. I highly recommend going to a running shoe store. Get them to scan your feet. They have these neat little machines that you stand on, and they take a scan of the bottoms of your feet. Some of them have treadmills, and they'll they'll actually watch how you walk, and then they use AI to suggest the best shoe or shoes for you to run in, and that's a really good place to start. Now, that being said, if you've never run before and you're at a place where you're not able to run very far, it doesn't matter much what shoes you're wearing. Um, it, I say that it does matter, but don't go out and spend $200 on super shoes because you don't need those. Nobody needs those. Your average runner doesn't need those. Your elite runners, maybe it gives them a competitive edge, but if you're just getting started, you do not need $200 shoes. Your average running shoe is going to cost around $100, but you can get last year's model on sale often for less than that. And you can get them online sometimes for even cheaper. So, um, maybe get your feet scanned and buy some shoes that are on sale. If you find that you get shin splints, there are exercises you can do to help with that, but a lot of times that's caused by the wrong shoes. If you start getting knee pain or hip pain, that's often caused by the wrong shoes. It's caused by bad form too, but if you're running less than a mile and you're in pain, um, it's stuff you've got to work through. So don't put a whole lot of money into the best shoe when you're first getting started. You'll figure that out as you add distance and get better at it. Some other things that you might need on your first run besides proper clothing and a pair of shoes is a hat and sunglasses if you're going to be out in the sun. That's really it. You don't need a watch. You don't need a heart rate monitor. You don't even need your phone with you. I mean, unless you want to take that for a safety reason. You don't need to track your runs. There is no tracking your runs is for when you are ready to start seeing your improvement. If you're just getting started, don't worry about that. Just worry about getting out there and going. Don't worry about how long you're out there. Don't worry about what your heart rate is. You should be running by feel at this point. And by feel, I mean, how does it feel when you run? Is it relatively easy? Is it making you happy? Or are you huffing and puffing? If you're huffing and puffing, you're probably going too hard. Slow down. Take it easy. The point here is not to prove anything. It's just to get out there and get started. Don't worry about how fast you're going or how slow you're going. Who cares? You're out there. You're lapping everybody on the couch. You're lapping everybody else who's not running. So just do it and just go for a little while. If you measure that by light poles, I'm going to start running at this light pole and I'm going to run to that light pole. That's what you do. Just do it. Don't worry about how fast, how slow, how far, what your heart rate is. Don't worry about any of that. Just worry about, am I doing it? How do I feel? That's it. Okay, next I want to talk about who. Who should you run with? Should you run with anybody? That's up to you. I personally prefer to run alone. I don't know why. I just do. It's kind of my happy place. Every once in a while I'll go run with a group. The problem with running with a group is I'm slow. And when I say I'm slow, I mean I'm slow as F. I'm not fast. I don't care to be fast. I don't want to be fast. I don't want to prove anything to anybody else while I'm running. So for me, running with a group always seems to turn into a competition, even when it's not intentional. I'm struggling to keep up, and I'm having to listen to somebody talk too much that I'm not. It's not that I don't like people, but I don't want to listen to somebody chitter chatter the whole time I'm running. I don't want to run someone else's pace. I don't want to worry about someone else keeping up with me. Now, that said, there are times if I have a friend who says, do you want to go for a run? I'll go run with them because I know that for today, that's going to be my goal, is to get them through their run. Or, we'll get through our run. Or I know they're faster than me. I know they're going to push me to my limits. But that's the point of that specific run. It's not something I do regularly. But again, that's just my preference. If you like to run in a group, then go run in a group. There are plenty of running groups that call themselves the slowest running club. The problem is they often aren't really that slow. And so you feel, you know, like, oh, well, I can only run a 13-minute mile. They're running 9-minute miles. They call themselves slow. But that's not slow. That's fast for me. So slow is relative, and it also depends on the terrain. If you're running on a sidewalk, you can run a whole lot faster than you can on a trail. That's just the nature of the terrain. Everybody's that way. So, don't feel like you have to go run with a group, or don't feel like you have to run alone. I will say though, if you have a trusted friend that is a runner, I recommend that you go with them from time to time if they're willing to go and run with you, knowing that you might be slower than them, or that kind of thing. Sometimes it's good just to get feedback from someone else who runs on the way you run, your gait, your if you do a lot of side to side motion when you run, you're wasting energy. um, you know, but again, that's stuff that you should get into much later in in your journey. That's not something you need to worry about early on. Early on, just go on. So now I want to talk about why you should run. You should run if you want to run. Everybody knows running in moderation is good for you, at least to some extent. So, you know, I'll leave that out of it, but you have to find your own why. I run because I enjoy it. It gets me out of my house. It gets me out in the nature. It, sometimes, every once in a while, I run to work because it's a distance that I can do. It's a means to an end. It allows me to eat almost anything I want to. It allows me to feel like I'm doing something for my health. It allows me to, you know, feel like I'm investing in my healthy future. Um, because, like you, I'm over 50. I'm pushing 60 at this point. So, for me, it's just about staying fit, being outside, and enjoying it. It's not about proving anything to anyone else. Now, having said proving things to other people, I want to get into Strava and tracking your runs with a watch or whatever. Personally, I do track my runs, but that is because I'm trying to get better. I am at a point, I've run several marathons, half marathons, and ultra marathons, and so for me, tracking my distance is important. It's not so much about tracking my pace as knowing how far did I go today and a general idea of my time and you know that kind of thing. It's not something that I post on social media, generally speaking. So I don't use Strava. When Strava first came out, you could not hide your. It tracks your route and your map, and when it first came out, you couldn't hide that. And being a woman who runs alone, I was damned if I was going to post my running routes on the public on a public site where anyone could see where I ran all the time. they've gotten better about that, where I think you can cut off like the first quarter mile or something like that, which frankly, in my opinion, is bullshit. You're still running the same route all the time. And yes, I know now you can hide your map, but running for me is not a social activity, so I don't post on Strava because I really don't care for the kudos. I don't care if anybody wants to compare to me because that's not why I run. I don't. I don't care about that. I do use Garmin to track my runs, but I don't share them. So, that's again my preference. It doesn't have to be yours, but the point to that is even people who run long distances sometimes don't care about comparison. So don't feel like you have to tell anybody how far you run all the time. Occasionally, if I do an ultra, I might take a screenshot of my phone app, the Garmin app that has my distance and time on there. I don't always do it. Sometimes I do it just because I don't know why I do it actually. Partially because people know that I run long distances and I sometimes just like to put it up there. But I also, don't care that I ran 31 miles in 9 hours, so don't, don't feel like you have to compare yourself to anyone else. You don't even have to compare yourself to yourself yesterday because every day is different. Every route that you run is different. If you start running races, every race is different. Don't feel like, well, I ran this 5K in 47 minutes, but I ran this 5K in 38 minutes. Should be able to run all 5Ks in 38 minutes now. It doesn't work that way. The route is different, which means there's different hills, there's different terrain, there's different days, and sometimes you're sick and you don't know it when you go out there and run a race. Sometimes you're sick and you do know it, but you go run the race anyway, or you're recovering, or you just didn't eat well, or you drank too much the night before. So don't feel like every run has to be compared to another run. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. Just go run, have fun, be outside, enjoy. Okay, so this is my video on how to get started running over 50. It's easy. Just go run. So here are things to keep in mind. Do just get started. Do go slow. Do be happy. And do smile because you're happy. The don'ts: don't go fast, don't go far, don't compare, and don't worry. Be happy. So if there's something that I missed, let me know. Drop a note in the comments, and I'll be sure to cover that in another video or reply to your comment. And if you try this and it works for you, let me know. I really love feedback on whether or not these tips were helpful at all, or whether it was a complete disaster for you. So in the meantime, get out there, enjoy the outside, run, and have a great day. Thanks.